Hey, what's up guys? Spencer Rhodes here. So Earl Sutton was a character that was in seasons 9 and 10 of The Walking Dead. He was also in the comics, pretty much the same character. He was a blacksmith and he's in his 60s, 70s. But in the show, we first see the character in the beginning of season 9. And his son takes care of horses and is good with horses, but he ends up getting killed, and Earl and his wife Tammy end up being kind of mad at Maggie and sort of blaming her for their son's death because they were on a mission to go out and get things, and it's actually for the Saviors. It's to help the Saviors. So basically their son died helping the army of people that they used to be against. And then Gregory, who was trying to take back his position of the leader of Hilltop after Maggie pretty much took it from him, because I believe they had an election and Maggie won the election and became the leader. Gregory sees what has happened as an opportunity to manipulate Earl, because Earl used to have a huge drinking problem and he had been sober for a long time, but their son is dead, Tammy's upset, and Gregory ends up manipulating a drunk Earl. He keeps giving him alcohol and being like, I'm your friend, and he's basically manipulating him, basically just manipulating Earl while he's drunk into going out and trying to kill Maggie. And he tries to kill Maggie, but he fails. Maggie pretty much beats him up, and then Maggie realizes that Gregory is actually a much bigger threat than Earl. Earl's locked up for a little while, but Maggie ends up being reminded of Herschel. Herschel used to be an alcoholic, but he became better and did good things, so there's still hope for Earl. So Maggie makes peace with Earl and lets him out of the cell, and he reunites with his wife, and then Maggie executes Gregory. And Earl continues to live on for a little while. There's the 5-year, 6-year time jump, but his wife ends up getting killed during the Heads on Spikes. Tammy is one of the Heads on Spikes, so that really enrages Earl. And a little bit before that, they actually adopted a baby that was Gamma's niece. We find out in the next season that the baby was Gamma's niece, but Earl basically adopted the baby with Tammy and takes care of the baby. And after Tammy dies, Alden and Earl both sort of take care of the baby, and they actually end up trying to keep him away from Gamma and protect him from Gamma, because they hate Gamma for being involved with the Whisperers and don't want to give her a chance to see him. But overall, Earl is a pretty good guy. I mean, he has a pretty good heart. It's interesting because in the comics, he actually survives and lives way longer. I think he lives to be in his 90s and whatnot. But the show and comics, they tend to really mix it up. It's almost getting to the point to where if a character survives the comics, they die in the show, and if they die in the comics, they survive the show. They pretty much like reversed it basically. But Earl ends up dying in season 10. He gets bitten in the arm and then gives this little speech to Judith about how she's strong and she needs to get away from him. And then he tries to kill himself, but he doesn't quite succeed, so he ends up reanimating as a walker, and Judith ends up having to put him down. But that was pretty much his character. He wasn't a huge character. He really just had some brief appearances over the 2 seasons that he lived. But he was likable. He seemed like a good person. But as far as do I wish that he had lived longer, I don't really see why he needed to. I know that he survived the comics, but in the comics he has a relationship with Carl and teaches Carl how to be a blacksmith, and Carl's dead, so he doesn't have that use that he had in the comics. So killing him almost makes sense. We needed another sad little death for season 10. We needed characters to die during the Whisperer War. We did need a few deaths like Laura and Earl Sutton. They didn't really kill off too many main characters besides Sadiq and technically Alpha and Beta if you want to count them. There weren't too many main characters that died in season 10. But that's because, I mean, keep in mind, Michonne left, Rick's gone, Maggie was gone until the finale. So they were running out of main characters. They kind of did have to kill some minor characters so that we could have some sad casualties during the Whisperer War. We just needed deaths during the Whisperer War. And I do think that as a death in the Whisperer War, Earl is a pretty good fit. He's a pretty good death. He's a character that you like just enough, but you can still watch the show without him. So I think his death did work, and I don't really see a reason why he would need to live to season 11. He was taking care of the baby, but maybe Alden will do that now. So I don't really think the character had much use, and he was likable enough to give him a sad death during the Whisper War, so they would have some impact. So overall, I do think his death makes sense, and I wouldn't have changed it. I don't think he needed to live to season 11. I think his death in season 10 is fine. Anyway, that's all I have for this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and as always, don't be shy. Hit that like and subscribe. I'm not going anywhere. I make 1 to 2 Walking Dead videos per day, so please hit that subscribe button. Right now we are at 878 subscribers. My goal is to try to get to 1,000 in the next few months. So just remember, every subscriber counts, every bit of support matters, and is very, very appreciated. Hopefully we can get to that goal of 1,000. Anyway, with all that said, I am Spencer Rhodes, and I will see you guys later. Bye.